What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of SMG Fishing. I've been doing a lot of work. I haven't made a lot of progress, but I've been doing a lot of work. For about the last 3 days now, I've been trying to figure this out, and more specifically, trying to figure these out. This is my attempt at having the entire deck be really flush, not have hinges sitting on top of the deck. All right, so let me try to explain this to you guys real quick. My goal for this boat is to have it seamless. The only thing you're gonna see on top of the deck are the slam latches. So on my other boat, what I have are hinges like this. They literally just screw in on top of the deck, just like that. Put 4 screws in here, and then you got a hinge. However, I think that looks really sloppy. So this is what I've been working on. These right here that you see are recessed hinges for like a kitchen cabinet or something like that. They're called European style hinges. These particular ones I got from IKEA. I tried Home Depot and Lowe's and Ace Hardware and all over eBay and everything. I couldn't find the exact style that I wanted, but I ended up figuring it out. Mostly it's taken me 2 days to figure out how to cut these hatch lids so that they all square up and everything and they all fit together. I ended up just cutting in the entire thing and then just making lines down because none of this framing is squared at all, and it drove me nuts, and I was done with it. Over here I got other hatch lids that I've already cut out, set up and everything. And if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, all those handles are SMG Fishing. You can go over there and follow me. I put some occasional updates in there if you guys want to go check that out. Make sure you go like my page, follow my Instagram, and tweet at my Twitter. So yeah, if you guys have been watching my social media, you've seen that I've already had latches, and I even had struts on them and everything so that they open by themselves. However, I've undone all the work I did yesterday to redo what I've been doing today. My OCD was just killing me. None of the hatches, none of the wood on top lined up or anything, and the hatches weren't working properly and everything, but I think I finally got it all figured out. I've already finished this middle one. My next step is to complete this one. This opens up like that. I wish that I could have it open up this way, but the way, and you'll see this in a second, the way my mounts line up, it just wouldn't work out. This hatch over here is probably going to be used for things like my oar, my life jackets, all the additional stuff that I don't really need right away. And then this is probably going to be where all my tackle storage is going to be. They're all very deep. They're probably 14 or 15 inches deep, and they run from here all the way to the front of the deck. So they're plenty long, and I can stuff things all the way up. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Man, there's sawdust on everything. Those of you who are wondering, this is how my box turned out. It looks pretty good. I went with an OD green instead of black like I was going to use. It's got a couple layers of clear coat on it and everything, so it looks a little shiny, but it's OD green camouflage paint. Looks pretty good. I've already got everything set up on the deck. I just haven't had the time to pull that front deck off and attach this tray in there. Eventually, when we do put this in there though, I'm going to be cutting out the hole in the deck so the deck will sit on top of this, so you won't see the lip on top of the deck. It'll actually be underneath, so it'll all be flush. And then when we finish the front deck, then I got to mess with the back deck. And I don't think that one's going to be nearly as hard, but I hope not. Anyway. Step 1. We got to remove all the old hinges first. So as you can see, I already had the strut installed, and I already had these hinges installed. However, alright, so you guys remember that plywood that's right here that we use for vertical supports and that 1/2-inch C-channel that we put on top of it? Well, I did not plan this at all, but this actually ended up working really well to my advantage. What I did was I basically just cut this square out right here in the plywood, and then I took and screwed in these hinges. They go right up in here. And so what's inside the C-channel right now is plywood. The first one I've already done. That wood started to like crack and break up and stuff, so it got really weak. So what I did is I took a 3/8-inch steel rod and put it inside that 1/2-inch C-channel, and what I'm basically doing is using that for a stiffer surface. I also got some bolts instead of screws, so these are machine threads. They have just a Phillips head on front and then a 3/8 nut on the bottom. So instead of just putting a screw in there and having that screw strip out over time, I put these on there. If I over tighten them or something, or if they strip, I'll replace them. That way I don't have to replace the entire structure of whatever's going on there. So step one is to take apart this whole, all these bolts and everything holding this all together. And I have to take this C-channel off, and then I have to cut out the wood that's inside this C-channel right now, and I have to replace it with a steel bar. So I gotta do that on this side and then the side down there for the other hinge. We're gonna take the steel rod, which is 3/8 inch diameter, and what we're gonna do is cut it down into 2 1/4 inch pieces so that we can stick them up underneath the C-channel where we just took that plywood out. Then we're gonna take and put the 2 1/4 inch pieces up in there. We're gonna mark where the holes are, and then we're gonna come back here to the vise, and we're gonna drill some 3/16 inch holes, I think it is. It doesn't matter. 1/4 inch, 3/16 inch. Okay, so now that we have these tapered screws instead of the regular flathead ones that we had before, we're gonna have to use a countersink bit to get the top of the aluminum kind of beveled out so that these tapered screws sit flush inside. Alright, so now we're just gonna throw everything together. We'll take this block and put it inside, and I'll line up the hole, and we drop the screws in there. And you screw the hinge in. And there you have it. That's how you put those together. For me anyway. I'm sure nobody will ever encounter the same scenario that I've taken on today, but if in any way possible this helps you out, I feel a little bit better about that. Alright, so now the next part is to take the hatch lid and put some holes in it for the hinges, and we put the hinges together, and then we do some more things and some more stuff, and maybe some carpet and some struts and some stuff. So now that we got everything hooked up over there on the boat, took the deck lid off, and we're going to be using this, which is called something or another. I forget what they're called. Basically what we got to do is I've already marked where the hinges go on the door, and I've been putting these about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the wood. That way when you open up the hatch, it's not rubbing on the deck framing. Basically what I do is I just start like that and see where the ring of the wood is going to hit. I'll outline it for you so you can see. Basically it's going to hit right about there. It's a little closer than I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it back. I haven't already started digging into the wood, so it's good. Move it back just a hair. Kind of got to push down. So what I've done is before I started doing this, I took a test piece of wood and I drilled it out. I figured out where I needed to stop, and then I marked it with a Sharpie. That way I don't go too far. Alright, so then you just take the door part of the hinge and it should fit right in there nicely. So after that we just line it up good, make sure it's straight, and we mark the holes with a Sharpie. And then we'll take a drill that's just a little bit smaller than the screw we're going to put in there, and drill out that hole. And we should be able to drop the hinge in there and screw it in. You want to be really careful not to over tighten these and strip them out, because you only get one shot really. Now we got a sturdy hinge. Alright, so now I'm going to take care of the other side, and then I'll meet you back over at the boat and show you how it all goes together. Alright, so sometimes these things can be a pain in the butt to get in, but basically you just open up the latches and then you butt them up against it, and they should line up pretty well. These actually line up really well. You just click them into place. 1, 2, done. Simple as that. So now we got 2 hatch lids working perfectly. What more could you ask for? How about struts? Let's put some struts in here. Okay, so this should be fairly simple. I already had it in here before I changed out the lids, so I've already got the bottom mount. I just need to pull the top mount off of the other latch that I had and pop it on there. We should be good to go. Check this out. Pretty cool, right? Alright guys, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all my new subscribers and everybody out there. I really appreciate you guys coming in every week and checking out those videos. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. And if you had any comments or questions about what happened today, make sure you leave those down in the comments section. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys next time.